flu cases are surging following the holiday season, and health officials warn an already severe flu season could get even worse.
5 News reporter Jacob Luthi is looking at the impact it's having here at home. Good morning, Jacob.
Yeah, good morning. The Arkansas Department of Health confirms to 5 News that flu-related deaths as well as hospitalizations continue to rise here in the state. Flu-related deaths have now climbed to 10 in its latest report from ADH, with 512 flu-related hospitalizations. They say the flu can have more serious effects on certain people, including seniors, children, and people with conditions like asthma, diabetes, or heart disease. They add that Arkansans who died during the flu season were all 65 years or older. Local doctors say there are steps you can take to protect you and your family.
Lots of kids are going back to school, parents are going back to work. And so one of the best things that you can do is hand hygiene. So just simply washing your hands. Another thing is keeping individuals sick at home. So don't send your kid to school who's sick. Don't give them pre-treat with medicine. Just keep them at home. Stay away from people who have been sick.
The rise in flu cases in the state is also having an effect on local blood centers. The Community Blood Center of the Ozarks is the sole provider of blood, plasma, and platelets to all of Northwest Arkansas hospitals. They say turnout compared to last year is down significantly.
We just hosted 2 big one-day event blood drives that we do before the holidays when we're closed, and our appointment numbers for those 2 drives were a lot lower than last year. So coming out of the holidays and the high spike in flu cases is really hitting us hard.
Now, Michelle Teeter with the Blood Center says they ask that you wait 7 days since last symptoms before making an appointment to donate blood. You can make an appointment online or visit one of their locations in Springdale or Bentonville if you're looking to donate. Jacob Luthi, 5 News.
Thanks for that, Jacob. Well, in Central Arkansas, the Little Rock Zoo is taking precautions amid 2 state bird flu cases close to the zoo and closing down their bird exhibit. A separate exhibit is also keeping its flamingos, chickens, and geese off display. Zoo staff say that they'll reassess in the coming days to decide when those areas can safely reopen. In other news this morning, Wade Dunn and Brad Simon will move forward to a runoff in an election as the race to fill the District 26 Senate seat before the legislative session continues.
5 News reporter Emily Moss has the latest results and reaction from the race. Good morning, Emily. Good morning, Joe and Tiffany. Around 6,000 people came out to vote in this week's primary election, sending 2 candidates, Wade Dunn and Brad Simon, to next month's runoff. Here are those preliminary results from last night. The seat covers around 80,000 people across Sebastian, Franklin, Logan, and Johnson counties. Governor Sarah Huckabee Sanders first announced the timeline, which would have held the primary on March 3rd and the general election in November. But it drew some backlash and lawsuits from residents who said it left the district without representation for too long, primarily during the fiscal session, where funding for the proposed Franklin County prison is expected to be voted on. All candidates running are against funding the prison, as was the late Senator Stubblefield. Ahead of the runoff, in a statement last night, Wade Dunn stated that in part, first and foremost, we are going to stop this mega prison scam. It goes on to say that they will immediately eliminate property taxes on seniors and veterans so they can own their home. Dunn was endorsed by Senator Stubblefield's family this fall, and he thanked them for their support as well last night. After the runoff in February, the winner will move on to a general election on March 3rd, where they will face an independent candidate, Adam Watson. By the end of that election, District 26 will have representation in time for the fiscal session that begins in May. Back to you.
All right, thank you for that update, Emily. An update also this morning in a story we first brought you last week.
The man reported missing from Iowa for over a week has been found dead in a rural area between Newton and Johnson County.
5 News reporter Lauren Spencer has the latest details in this investigation.
Nicholas Collins was reported missing out of Tama County, Iowa on December 29th. His car was found on New Year's Day here in Arkansas. Since then, law enforcement and community members have been searching extensively. We received confirmation from the Johnson County Sheriff's Office Tuesday night that the body found was Collins. He was reported missing after he had not been seen or heard from since December 19th. Officials say he left a note saying he was going away for a while. The Johnson County Sheriff's Office says on January 1st, deputies recovered a car linked to Collins in Oark. License plate readers later detected the vehicle in southern Missouri before it was found back in Arkansas without a license plate. Law enforcement agencies, along with members of the public, searched for days after that vehicle was located. Earlier Tuesday, authorities used helicopters to conduct an aerial search. Several agencies were on scene, including local sheriff's offices, search and rescue teams, and state police. I spoke with Newton County Sheriff Glenn Wheeler shortly after the body was found. At the time, the individual had not been identified.
What we can confirm right now is there has been the body of a male in his early 20s located in the Ozark National Forest near the Arbaugh Trailhead in Newton County. Investigators are on scene. Newton County Sheriff's Office, Johnson County, Arkansas State Police, and others are on scene. Search and rescue is on scene. Don't have a manner of death at this point, but we will. He'll be taken to the crime lab to get some of that figured out.
Just a few hours later, Johnson County Sheriff Tom Hughes confirmed the body found was Nicholas Collins. The Newton County Sheriff's Office has now taken over the investigation. The Tama County Sheriff's Office in Iowa says there is no indication of foul play at this time. Lauren Spencer, 5 News.
Well, the Benton County Sheriff's Office is looking for a 45-year-old Jason Evans. He was last seen on December 17th walking eastbound on Highway 102 in Bentonville. The Sheriff's Office says that he frequents the War Eagle area. He was last seen wearing light-colored blue jeans and a short-sleeved blue and white collared shirt with a grayish-green vest. Well, President Trump is touting the U.S. operation that ousted the Venezuelan leader Nicolas Maduro and says that Venezuela has agreed to transfer 30 to 50 million barrels of sanctioned oil to the U.S.
Yeah, the president saying that the proceeds from the sale will benefit both countries and that U.S. oil companies could help develop the reserves. The plan is drawing some mixed reaction, though, from Capitol Hill.
The potential of that oil reserve for Venezuela and the American people is unlimited.
I think they're using our military to enforce 20-year-old contracts for oil companies. And I think it's wrong to use our soldiers in that way.
Today, the Trump administration officials are expected to return to Capitol Hill to brief lawmakers on the Venezuela operation.
Today, the trial continues for former Uvalde school police officer Adrian Gonzalez in Texas. Now, Gonzalez faces 29 counts of child abandonment or endangerment and could be sentenced to a maximum of 2 years in prison if convicted. An investigation found 77 minutes passed from the time authorities arrived at the school until a tactical team breached the classroom and killed the shooter. The judge says that the trial is expected to last about 2 weeks. Now, this week, the Trump administration launched its largest illegal immigration crackdown yet in Minnesota. Nearly 2,000 immigration agents were deployed to Minneapolis-St. Paul to carry out raids and assist in federal fraud investigations. Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem says that the large deployment is necessary to address what officials describe as widespread abuse of government programs. Over the past 3 years, prosecutors have charged more than 90 people, mostly Somali Americans, with fraud. Now, some in the state's Somali community say that they're concerned about overreach.